This is Five and Friends. 5 friends, 5 perspectives, all fun. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode, everyone. My name is Zan. Don't ask why, just put an I. And with me this week is Samra.
Hey.
Amina.
Hello.
And back from the spooky dead, Gossam.
I am so shocked right now. All right, calm down.
Chill out. You weren't that missed.
This is like one of the best recording episodes ever.
Did you hear all the shade we threw at you?
From
No,
last
I did
week?
not.
From every week that you haven't been on?
No, I have not.
So there's been lots of shade.
We've been like
If you go back, you'll be surprised at how much shade has been thrown to you.
Oh god.
we've been like maybe if someone, I don't know, answered the group message.
Listen,
What?
my contract was up, and I couldn't do anything about it.
You're up for negotiations.
Yes.
Okay, well, you're
Can I
back.
Can I tell the real reason?
That's the real reason.
The real reason is Gossam's phone dies when it's like 70% battery because he's got a crappy phone.
Oh god.
He does not get any of the messages that we send his way because his phone dies. And also, it doesn't reach 100%. The max it goes to is 70.
The max is 70 and it dies at 30.
So I have a 40% lifespan.
And it's not like Gossam like conserves it either. You're constantly snapping and stuff, so it's like, of course, that battery's gonna die. Like,
That battery's probably like sweating every single day because of how much Gossam uses Snapchat and all that.
Seriously.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's the real reason, guys. Gossam's phone just sucks.
But not even just that. That's just one part of the reason why Gossam sucks at
is
coming
this
on
a
this
roast?
episode.
This episode should be a roast.
But let's also talk about the internet conditions that Gossam has. Like, oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh yeah, we're walking
Oh my
on
God.
we're walking on hairs right now. If this is gonna work or not, because the last 2 podcasts I was trying to get on, connection lost, and so I was never able to go on until today. So yeah, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, seriously.
Gossam, I feel like you've lost all your fans. Any people who
I
listen for
have.
you at this point, you have to like rebuild your fan base.
I know everybody always talks about the LA aesthetic. People still
gone
bring that
now.
up. It's gone.
That honestly, that was from episode like 1. You don't have any new material. Do you even know what the On the Rocks challenge is at this point?
Yes,
No.
I do know that challenge.
Thank God.
Thank God you were
Did you-
up to date with something.
And you don't know the running gag of how I think Zan shouldn't have children.
No, I do not.
My
know that.
God! I don't even think I know that running gag.
Yes, you do. You had the same reaction when I said it the first time.
Oh my god.
You were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's harsh." I'm like, "Yep, that's me."
Yep, that is kind of harsh. But, I have some news that I want to put out there really quick. Going off topic.
Oh, what do
I
you?
want to know how you 3 Game of Thrones
What?
fans feel about your Sansa engaged to Joe Jonas.
Huh?
What? Really? This
Exactly.
actually happened?
I feel.
Yes, it did.
I feel like she should do whatever makes her happy, and that's all I care about.
Yep, this happened. They're engaged.
Well,
Do you
She's marrying the less cool Jonas brothers of the 3. So
I think Kevin was the least cool.
Well, there was a rank, right?
no,
It was like
yeah, it was Nick Jonas, then it was Joe Jonas, Kevin, and then little Frankie.
a Frankie.
That's Gossam.
who was the curly haired one?
Kevin.
They were all
Oh, that-
curly haired. Then they got like perms or something to like
Well, the one that like
Think
broke
about
off.
that again,
the
Summer.
one-
Why would curly hair people get perms to make their hair straight?
No, I said you didn't hear me again. I said I said permit or
Oh.
something like.
I was like, perm make
Straight,
curly. Anyway, they're getting married, so good for them.
Did
Yeah,
not know
that's-
that actually.
And now they're
that's
gonna
surprising.
delay season 19 or whatever season we're in.
Season
19.
She thinks it's Grey's Anatomy. We're in season
I
19.
love Grey's. First of all, Grey's Anatomy's in season 14, and it's better than ever.
Oh, God.
And it's so good. Also,
I
somehow
have
was
heard
confusing
rave reviews about
2019. It's because ever since spoiler, turn it off if you haven't. I don't know why you wouldn't know this by now, but ever since Derek died, it's been great.
Yo, you're not supposed to say that.
McDreamy is Mick gone.
Listen, there's 14 seasons of the show. I'm like,
I know.
I don't got time. No one got time to watch all of it
took
now.
me years
Maz
to catch
does.
up. Years.
The fact that you spent years dedicating your life to Grey's Anatomy.
I didn't dedicate it. It's not like I binged it. I'd watch an episode here and there. See what I'm trying to say?
You also
Healthy.
watch SVU, which has like 30 seasons.
SVU is so good too. It's like a perfect
You know what
world.
else I'm gonna watch is, which has a lot of seasons? I think it has a lot of
Criminal
seasons.
Minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has like 14 seasons as well.
But I have to say, I kind of got into the Criminal Minds when I came home one time and Amna was watching
It's
it.
because it's good. I like good shows, you guys. I don't watch crap TV. Maybe I do.
I don't watch crap TV either.
We're not saying you do, but like you watch shows that are way too far into it
Yeah.
for me to get involved.
And I watch Supernatural, which is on season 13 now, so.
I know I'm on season 10 of that and I need to get on top of my game.
Point
Well,
is,
Supernatural.
you're right. I like to watch shows that have more than 10 seasons.
I
You
need
know
to
what,
watch
though?
Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what I do need to watch.
No one here watches it.
No,
I do.
Zan
Oh,
does.
Hey, hey.
Zan, you watch
I
it.
do. I watch the show. I've been watching it every single week because it's been funny as hell.
Is it
You know
good?
what I just
I've heard
watched?
that it's really good.
Like the first episode is absolutely hilarious, and it's obviously gone down. It hasn't been as laugh out loud funny as the first episode, but it's still funny.
Well, I mean, it's dry. Like it's like very subtle humor. It's not like right
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah. So like it's definitely funny. It definitely is like the same old Larry David
I need to watch that.
and his antics.
I'm really feeling blackish.
Oh, did you watch the postpartum episode?
Yeah, I loved it.
I cried.
So good.
I cried.
Me too.
That scene, the pinnacle scene, when she like goes off, I was
Ruby.
yeah, I started crying. I was like, "You go, Bo, you go."
By the way, people, I don't know if you used to watch it, but this season of American Horror Story, pretty damn good.
I used to watch it.
It's really good. Like, I'm not just saying that. It's actually a really good season. Last season was very different. This season is back to its roots, but it's very interesting. Like so tomorrow is every Tuesday. We all of us gather around and watch the American Horror Story.
We used to
Like,
do
10
that
of us.
at college. I used to have a group of people that we would order insomnia cookies. But we would order so everyone would have one, or if we were really gluttonous, two, but 1 to 2 cookies. And then we would sit and we would all gather around. It was like a big group of us and we'd watch American Horror Story.
Yeah, it's like there's you could hear American Horror Story everywhere. From there's in the lounge there's a TV. There's some on the in the dorms. You will hear American Horror Story everywhere. Like it's crazy.
that
was, like-
Everybody comes out of their dorms. You're like, yo, did you guys watch the episode?
People
Yo,
would
it was
yak.
the
Remember
best."
Yik Yak, Zan? Do you remember Yik Yak?
I remember that. That was like a good maybe a few months before it died out. But yeah, I definitely
People
remember
would
it.
yik yak about American Horror Story at the same time. So everyone would be yakking. I don't know what yik yakking
Yicking.
about American Horror Story, and
Right.
you'd go on it, and everyone would be talking to each other. So that was good. Summer, what about you in your olden days?
First of all, I don't know what the hell yik yakking is. Second of all, in my
We're dating
day,
ourselves.
we watched One Tree Hill,
I watched One Tree Hill
Oh.
too, with you.
and that was in my. We would get together in someone's dorm to watch it.
Well, what about Zan?
My show that I watched with everyone was The Walking Dead, because that's when the first season came out.
Oh, that was the best
So,
season.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons I watched with a group of people every single week religiously. We first did it in the dorms, but then we graduated to this room that had a projector, so we always had a projection of it, and we always had food ready, and we would just sit there just watching it every week. Those were the days. But then Walking Dead sucks now, so kind of died
A lot
off.
of people still watch it. Don't disrespect the Walking Dead fans.
A lot of people do watch it still,
They're gonna
and
come
it's
for
still
you.
one of the But I don't know.
Walking Dead is pretty spoopy, just like the topic of tonight.
Yeah. I was hoping that you would make a Subway.
A Subway?
Subway.
I made a Subway sandwich also. Just I went to Subway right now. Anyway, my segue.
Your segue.
Your segue, but can I segue
Off of
before your
that.
segue?
What's your
Which goes into thing. I know this is Halloween month, and I bought Halloween decorations. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. I got a Halloween wreath. It's got little pumpkins, and it sparkles. And then I have,
If you could see me right now, my head is in my hands.
and then I got 2 pumpkins that light up. One's orange and one's black. And
Are
then
you
I
gonna
got
carve a
another
pumpkin?
2 pumpkins. No. And then I got another 2 pumpkins. One says trick or treat, and one says happy Halloween. So that's my segue
Nice.
into our.
That's interesting.
I'm just very
We-
excited about my Halloween decoration.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Well, I went pumpkin picking and I got pumpkins, real pumpkins,
Where are they?
outside. I didn't
didn't
carve them though, because why would I?
I didn't see them.
Why would
Show
you
your
not?
artistic abilities.
It's so messy.
I didn't see them, Amna.
What do you want me to? I don't know. They're there. They're outside next to the.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Don't say that out loud!
Are we gonna have to do that post production right now?
Bleep it out. Bleep it out.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. I recorded it.
Leave it out. Okay, now let's segue into the other part. My God, you're hanging out with Sabina, and she's teaching you these words.
I said a very inappropriate word.
Inappropriate word.
It's
Anyways, we're bleeping it out. No need to talk about it.
anyway.
Next.
So
Let's quickly pivot from there
Pivot,
pivot.
pivot.
so we are gonna
Jinns.
talk.
Yes, exactly.
Who said that?
I said it.
Gotham.
Oh my god.
That was the worst. That blew out all of our speakers.
Jinns.
Jinns.
That makes it sound so not scary either.
Yeah.
And you're
We had a
like,
What was that?
Jinns.
That was creepy in a not good way.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'm not going. What about Jinns?
So we are going to be talking about Jinn in the way that you don't hear about Jinn. So in most Western lore, you hear about Jinn in the sense of a genie or, a monster. But Jinn ain't that. Not to us. That's yeah.
Why are you making it sound so cheerful? It is probably the most terrifying thing about Pakistan.
About Islam and it's not even
Islam.
Pakistan, it's about every Muslim.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's pretty cool.
You want me to get sad and depressing about it? I can. I guess not sad, but nervous.
I mean, it is a
Beavis?
Halloween month, so I'm just assuming we should keep it with the theme.
Nervous. Okay.
I can do
What?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Summer, you can go.
I was gonna say I can do a quick little history about it. And so the listeners and our viewers, or not viewers, but you know what I mean, can get an idea for those who don't know what jinn are.
You're gonna do that?
Yeah, I can if you want me to.
Yeah, Summer, go ahead. We need to hear your voice more.
Well, okay.
Wow.
So, so jinn in Islam is an explanation of like, well, in Islam they talk about like the unknown and the unknown or the unseen, I should say, the realm of the unseen, and it is from this realm and that Islam explains about jinn. And I'm getting this information, by the way, if anybody really I'm going to do a quick like synopsis of it, but I'm getting this information from this website online. If anybody's interested, I can just like message us and we can tell you where. And so they are beings that we can't see. They live in like a parallel world, and they also are created with free will, as us humans are. And apparently, I didn't know this, but the Arabic word for jinn is from the verb jana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so please, anybody who knows how to pronounce it can tell us how, which means to hide or conceal. So they, basically, it means that they're obviously invisible to
We should make
mankind.
a makeup line called Jenna. And
and it'll hide and conceal
all your
flaws.
blemishes.
That's a pretty good marketing idea right there.
Wait,
Yeah, it really
Oh
is.
my god, guys, hold on. When we were talking about jinns right now, a huge like thing just fell from my kitchen. Oh my
What
god, that's so
fell?
scary.
Yeah,
What
what fell?
Like a Tupperware.
Like, was it on the side of your...
No, it was like, I don't think it was on the side.
All right, well, we're going to keep going, so I hope nothing else happens.
Yeah. So, exactly. Say
Some Aitel
say your-
Corsi.
say your prayers.
So,
And so, basically,
did you
because
say what they
they're
were created
unseen-
from?
No, I did not. But I was getting there.
Okay, sorry,
I think
sorry.
I was getting there. But maybe if I don't, then you can say it. But basically, because they're unseen, that's why many people deny their existence. But it's one of the things that are talked about in the holy book, the Quran, that they are real. So if you believe in all that they were created before man.
They're included in like the God created angels, God created
Jinn.
the devil,
Yeah.
and then they created jinns, basically. Like that was a third one.
Well,
Unless jinns are technically, I guess, the devil, but
No,
I mean,
they're
maybe
not.
I don't
They're
think so.
not.
No, they're not, right?
They
No,
have
so
nothing to
it
do with
is separate then.
yes,
It is
and then
separate then,
they're created with fire.
No.
So
Smokeless fire.
well, smokeless fire, yes. So their nature, according to this thing that I'm reading, quoting from it, is their nature has generally been fiery, and thus their relationship with man has been built upon this. So I guess that's to say that they're, a little bit more harsh than humans.
So,
A little more blunt.
I think the way, to basically sum up what Summer is saying and how to define it differently from a demon is that jinn are beings that were created that also have free will, and in conjunction with human beings. And
They're not necessarily bad things, though.
no, because they have free will, just like human beings. If you have free will, you could be a bad person, a good person, or an in-between, right? So, like most people are in between. But that's what jinn are. They're kind of like that. In Islam, prior to Islam, jinn were considered monsters, like pagan deities, like demons.
Spirits and fairies and
Right.
whatnot, depending on whatever you believe
And
in.
that
but-
has mostly prevailed in Western thought about jinn. But when Muslims talk about jinn, we're not talking about that. We're talking about there's no like equivalent almost in Christianity, because Christianity believes there are just humans and then angels and demons, but demons are fallen angels, right?
Yes.
Demons are the angels that had revolted against God and joined the devil.
Correct.
Whereas jinn, some jinn are bad, some jinn are good, and
It's like humans. Some are good, some are bad.
so you don't really get, like, I don't know, like, and in that line of thought, can you really get possessed by a jinn?
Well, this is where
It gets sticky.
It gets a little sticky because what really distinguishes them from mankind, other than being made by smokeless fire, is that they have powers and abilities. So, which these powers were given to them as their test for God and their loyalty to God. I guess that was. So if they use their powers for negativity, they're held accountable. Just like if we do anything bad, like really bad in life, obviously we sin. And then if they use their powers for good, then obviously they're rewarded. And so they're able to take really any physical form, which is part of their power. They can appear as humans, animals, plants, trees, anything. And we don't know. It could be them because we can't see them. So they could see us, but we cannot see them. So they could be parading around looking like humans. We don't know that that's, in the belief, we wouldn't know that's a jinn. We would just think that's another human being. And they do have the ability to possess and take over the minds of other creatures, which they have utilized, according to this, for many, many, many centuries. And it's actually this, to possess is using their powers in a negative way. So there you go. That's where it gets kind of sticky. So they can possess, and if they do, then they're bad, and they're part of, that's their free will to be able to do that, I guess.
So, are we never able to see a jinn, or what's the case?
No.
Well, some people
no,
believe
in
you
the
can.
sense, no, in the sense that they could be in a human form or in an animal form or in a plant form. You and I would think that's a plant. That's this, that's that, but it's not. It's actually a jinn, but we would know it's a jinn. Does that make sense?
You know,
Okay.
They're like disguised.
Fun fact, modernists, like modernist Islamists, whatever, believe that jinn could also be bacteria and viruses. Like
Yeah,
an
they
like an
could take any form.
unseen, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just like a thing to throw out there. But I think what's the creepiest thing about jinn, though, kind of segueing out of like what they are, is how they're talked about in Muslim countries and the stories about them, because it's not like a demon or an infestation or a haunting, or kind of like a haunting. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyone?
I guess the best way you can describe it is that it is a haunting. It's like it really depends on the jinn itself. Like, there are some jinns that possess people. There are some jinns that kind of like help them out in a situation, like in a good way. There's been jinns that that done evil stuff and like kind of like haunted them in the sense that not necessarily possessing someone, but like haunting their lives and kind of like doing these creepy things or whatever you want to call it, like around them. So I guess it really depends, and it goes back to the whole free will, because it depends on what they want. And it's just like, it's kind of hard. It is hard to explain because it's like there is no equivalency to it. So it's
Like, okay, so there's this mosque. What mosque is it again, Zan?
What do you mean? Oh, the one in the one in Medina.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
What's it called again?
Oh, there. It's a really famous mosque.
Navi,
Really, guys?
Masjid,
the Masjid al Navi.
Right.
That's the one in Medina.
so when I say
yeah.
masjid, I mean a mosque, right? So a place of prayer for Muslims. So this mosque closes at night. No one is allowed inside this mosque because they believe that the jinn, or not the jinn, actually no, they believe angels and jinn, all of them, conform and pray at night in this mosque. And it's blocked off to people. Which is insane. And then there was this a story, like a urban legend about a woman who really wanted to see what was going on. So she snuck in at night, like right before it closed, like she snuck in and hid. And they closed it, they shut her out, they locked her in basically because they didn't know she was inside. And the next morning they found her dead. But I'm like, if they're good, why would they have killed her? And then someone else.
If they're doing the mosque, why would they kill her at a
Well,
mosque?
unless she went into complete shock as to what she saw.
Right. Or like.
And that's how I interpreted
right.
it.
That she was like, it was like too much for a human to handle all of that. If you were to believe that.
And how long ago was this?
I don't know. It's an urban legend about the mosque.
Oh, okay.
But they also say, because for those who don't know, when you go to any mosque, and this mosque is actually really very important. It is where I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So somebody correct me.
Wait, which one?
Masjid
What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is where we believe the Prophet was buried, correct? Not where we.
Yes.
So I just want to make.
No. Yeah, the one in Medina. Yes.
Yes, the one in Medina. Yes.
It's now the largest mosque in the world. Just
I don't know if that is the largest.
It's like one of the largest ones. Definitely one of the ones.
What they say is when you go to any mosque, you have to do what's the English term for wuzu? Absolution or something?
Basically, when you wash yourself before you pray.
Yeah, is that like absolution? Anyways, so you have to do that, and so they leave like things for, as Amna said, these jinn and angels to come in and like pray. They leave like things to help clean them, and those things are used.
Yeah, they'll come in the next morning and it's like wet.
Yeah, it's like wet everywhere, and the items are like, the buckets are empty with the water and stuff, and that's nuts.
Yeah, and so I guess the way they talk about it is like they're just people that you don't interact with or you don't see, but then sometimes you do see them in certain other stories.
And they're always been portrayed as someone that's very distinguished looking. Like whenever they do, like when all these, like we have a few stories to share, and some of these stories you'll kind of have this like ongoing theme that like they take forms of like humans, but you can definitely tell that there's something off with them. Just a little bit where it's just like there's just that you can kind of tell that they're not really human. There's definitely something else going around them. But they look and I guess talk like any other human out there.
Yeah.
At least in our case, in our stories,
right? And like, we told some stories about our aunt who had has run-ins with a jinn. I said had. It still probably happened.
We don't know if it is or isn't, right? It could be just like an evil spirit or whatever.
But in Islam, there's no such thing as evil spirits. That's my thing. Is in Islam, there's no. If we go by religion, and if I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying if we go by it, there aren't evil spirits in Islam. There's just jinn. So they go in Pakistan, these Muslim countries, they don't talk about ghosts. They talk about jinn. Ghosts are more of a Western thing. So to her, she's being stalked by a jinn. Yeah. So...
Crap.
You good?
Are you okay?
Sorry, I just like bumped my elbow into the desk. Sorry.
All right. Oh my god, another freaky occurrence has occurred.
Yeah.
But no. Like she went through like the stories we told her of like the person crawling on the floor or blood on her sheets, or I don't know if we told the one of her coming home, like her sister coming home and taking the blanket off and it was someone else. But that's another one. But There's even
there's not too much to the story, but basically that's what happened.
she but in Pakistan and stuff, they're like just random stories about like, oh, there's this village and they have a school for jinn, and then you see jinn school children and they just talk about that, and you're like, have people really seen these kids? And they're like, yeah, well, they know people who've seen it. And it's always like that, right? Oh, they know.
It's very casual there. Yeah, it's not even like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some people who are afraid of it. But like the fact that it's so like commonplace, I guess, in the conversation that, oh yeah, they were just affected by a jinn. That's what happened. That's it. It's kind of strange. Like, at least for us, like for me, it's strange that it's just such a, yeah, that's what happened. They just got possessed by a jinn. Oh well, we fixed them and it's fine.
Yeah, that's.
Oh well.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
like, I mean, I have one story with the jinn. Like, so I don't know who exactly that told the story. It was someone I think either it was someone in our family or someone that we knew, like a family of a family, whatever. Basically, they all went to Mecca to kind of do the whole Hajj, and or maybe it was an Umrah, whatever. They were doing some sort of pilgrimage to Mecca, and it was two adults, and then there was 2 kids with them. Basically, they were doing the entire thing, and at one point I guess, if I get my facts straight, that they were getting lost because there's just so many people who do these pilgrimages out there. That like they were getting lost and they didn't know what the next step was or anything. So this guy who they claimed looked like a pious, like all white looking guy who had really fair white skin, very fair blonde hair and blue eyes and everything. Like he looked very distinguished. He looked out of the ordinary, like sticking out like a sore thumb in the crowd. And he came over being like, "Hey, let me help you out, and let me get you to the place that you need to get to." So he did this. He actually helped them out. He held their hands and he did all this for them for like a good couple hours or something. Who knows? Time passed. And at one point, I think they were like, "Okay, thank you so much. Like this is what we needed. Thank you, sir. How do we repay you?" And then all he did was like, "No, I don't need anything. I'm fine. It's fine." And then they looked away for a second to, I guess, grab cash or grab some sort of something to kind of pay him back for his, good deed. And when they looked back, he was gone. Now, obviously, being the skeptic, you can kind of just be like, "Oh, well, he was clearly just a normal person, and he just happened to be helping them out." And then they looked away for that 1 second, and he was gone because I guess he was just, too humble. He didn't want anything. He was good. But they were convinced that he wasn't just a normal person. There was something off about him in a good way, not in a bad way. Just there was something off about him where he's just like, the way that he was so pious and like very humble, and he was just doing all this, like there was something weird about him. And then the fact that he left immediately when they looked away for what they claimed for a split second, they look back and he was gone. So who knows what that would have been, but it is interesting. That's just a positive take on the jinn.
Yeah, that's a good story about like to show like the contrast in the stories and the experiences. I thought when they turned around, like they turned around for a second, and then when they turned back around, he was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and it's not even, yeah, exactly. And it wasn't even like, how even if you're in a big crowd, looking away for a split second and looking back, you can kind of tell if he's gone a certain direction or whatever.
Well, especially if he looked that distinguished.
Exactly. If he especially looked like this, looked at like a sore thumb, then, you would think that, oh yeah, he clearly just went that way, or he clearly went just that way. No, but he completely vanished. And this is millions upon millions of people. So there's no way that he could have just like plowed his way through the people. He just kind of just vanished, and it's kind of interesting.
Damn.
Yeah. But see, like that's the idea that like, it just goes back to the whole free will, that like there are some good ones, there are some bad ones. It kind of goes like It's like the 9 characteristics of a D&D character, if you know what I mean. Like the chaotic neutral, the neutral, the lawful good and the lawful evil.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what it is. Like there's that many different versions of it. He could be anything, you know,
Just like
or
a
he or
human.
she could be anything. Yeah, just like a human.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Well, I mean,
Got it.
I was also reading right now that there is a mosque. It's called the Mosque of the Jinn. It's in Mecca, located near Jannat al Mula. It's also known as the Mosque of Allegiance. The mosque is built at the place where a group of jinn are said to have gathered one night to hear the recitation of a portion of the Quran by Prophet Muhammad. So that is also another mosque that is, I guess, used for jinn or whatever.
That's
Which is
interesting.
kind
Well,
of
I'm sure
interesting, but
many mosques are.
yeah. But that was like apparently it's very popular because of the fact that um the jinn were listening to the reciting the Quran with Prophet Muhammad. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I mean,
You know what that's actually a really good comparison. Like I'm reading the Wikipedia article about Jinn. Like you could just find it on Wikipedia. One of the things that they keep talking about is like how Aladdin and the genie being a jinn of some sort. Like that's how you can kind of take it in a more modern sense, that like the genie in Aladdin would be the jinn technically, you know,
but that's what I
he
meant
took
though earlier, that genies aren't, like, we don't see jinn as genies.
No, of course, but like this would be the closest thing that you could kind of compare it to, I guess, just a little bit. Like that it could be a good one, it could be a bad one, and this is just based off of what I'm reading on the Wikipedia. This is what they're saying is like some of the similarities between the different cultures. But yeah, like it's
Yeah. Zan, you good?
no, I'm good. I'm sorry. No, I'm
Broke
good.
in the middle of your conversation to take a sip of water.
I was really thirsty.
All I heard was like the and I was like, what?
I was really thirsty.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
thought connection was lost.
I know, it's so
What
abrupt.
was that? Like connection?
Yeah, sorry about that. That I need to work on. I need to work on my transitions.
Yeah, you do. You gotta be like, drink your water right after you finish talking, not in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, and then basically, like anything else, like and I don't want to just kind of read. I don't want to read the entire Wikipedia article, but they show similarities to Judaism, saying that besides angels, Jewish lore notices other types of supernatural creatures, including the Shidam, which are akin to the Islamic concept of jinn. They are said to eat, drink, procreate, and die, and are mostly invisible, and in some accounts they inhabited the earth before mankind until human beings replaced them, similar to the jinn in Islam. And one more, like Buddhism, similar to the Islamic idea of spiritual entities converted to one's religion, can be found in the Buddhism lore.
Buddha.
Accordingly, Buddha preached amongst humans and deva, spiritual entities who are like humans, subject to the cycle of life. So there are different versions of it, I guess, which I didn't know. I didn't know that other religions even had the concept of this.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, well, those three are like the,
Yeah.
Oh, well,
And there's more
Buddhist.
too, but
Never mind. I'm
yeah, there's more too. But if you guys are interested, just look it up on Wikipedia.
Just go on, I don't know, Wikipedia.
Just go on
we didn't do any
Wikipedia.
deep research here.
No, not at all.
Well, I mean, I can tell you guys the website that I use, but like I said, that's where I was like, you can message it if you really want to get more info. I just wanted to give you
I have a
brief
question.
synopsis.
What's up?
So let's just say somebody gets possessed, right? Are they getting possessed by a ghost or whatever, or by a jinn?
Well, in our case,
in
a
our
jinn.
religion, I'm talking about.
A jinn.
Okay.
Like Amna said, we don't really believe in like the ghosts, right?
No, I don't. There's no such thing as go. Like, think about when we die, they don't talk about our spirits returning in unrest. You know, so like it's just, and they do compare like to some point like bad jinns are thought of the analogous to demons. So if you believe in possession, then you believe in jinns can possess. That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I believe in it 100%
Why is that?
because I mean, there's a story that I don't know if you'd like to recite from one of our cousins. It
Oh, well,
seems pretty, legit.
I don't know
okay.
if I've ever heard this story.
Well, one of our cousins in Pakistan, they lived in this house, and we visited there, and we stayed in that house, and it was the house that was connected, that had the one bathroom that was connected to the two rooms. You know, so
Okay, yes, I remember.
Yes, yes, I
okay,
know exactly
this
what
was
you're
our
talking
Umma's
about.
house, our grandmother's house, and she would see in that house a figure that looked like her brother, but it wasn't her brother.
Our cousin. Let's clarify that. The cousin's brother, not our grandmother's
No, no,
brother.
sorry. It was our grandmother's house,
Yeah.
but our cousin lived in that house, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
our grandmother's granddaughter.
My grandmother lives with my uncle who has 5 children.
They don't all live there.
No, but this is like
At the time they
At the
did.
time,
They
they
did.
all did, right? So the youngest one would see her oldest brother walking around, or just at
At
night,
night.
but he wouldn't be home in actuality. And so this figure, she said, had red eyes.
see,
And at one night, she said that they were all watching some wedding movie or someone's wedding video, and she like goes in to get water and crosses and looks into the drawing room, which is like the living room. The lights are off, and she sees this figure that looks like her brother sitting on the couch with red eyes, just staring there. And supposedly she ran after him and ran him out of the house and locked the door on him. Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah. Supposedly.
Also, our grandmother saw this figure because this person or this jinn walked into the house at night. She thought it was her grandson and was like, "Oh, you're home," like gave him a hug, and he walks into the room. But the cousin actually never came home that night.
interesting.
Yeah. But see, that's not. But then, like, yeah, once again, like, he didn't really do anything bad. He was just kind of like, just lamping around, just hanging around, doing nothing, just chilling. And then when he got caught, he just ran away. And then I guess he never showed up again.
Well, he did show up to our grandma, clearly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it? Look, I don't know whether that all happened in one night or was it like throughout the course of a few nights. I don't know about that, but point is though, like after a point, he never showed up, and then
I mean, there was also
all
a story
dead.
where like something happened to our cousin, and then like they find scratches all over her body, and it's not like it's like significant scratches. You can't just find that like in under 10 seconds or something. Like she went to her room, you hear like a thump, a scream, or whatever. They go inside and they find our cousin laying on the floor with scratches all over her body. So there's that as well. I mean, I there might be something more to it, but I mean that's kind of scary to think about. Like scratches all over somebody's body. Uh,
Like
did
3
she do it? We don't
crosses or
know.
3 X's
Yeah,
down her throat. That's what they
yeah.
said they saw.
And I mean, she
Yeah.
went to the hospital and everything, and she was fine, normal. But that happened to her, so
Was it the same house?
something to keep in. I think it was
I
a
know. I
house
think I.
in 2010 when you guys didn't come, and it was just our family that went to Pakistan. Um, it's in that house, it was not creepy. Zen, you can attest to it. That house, that house was not creepy at all. Like that was a pretty open house. I mean, granted, um, there was this alleyway that was like part of the house as well. But I mean, even then, it wasn't. It they would just put like the clothes on like the hanger and they would dry it on the alley. That was it. There was nothing creepy about that house at all. So I don't know. I don't know how much to believe in that story, but that did happen.
Well, if it's the house with the two bathrooms, I'm just that connected. That's where like our cousin got married, right? And then him and his wife were like the upstairs uh section, like the room on the roof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that room, like their part of the house, the upstairs section, was really creepy.
I
That
didn't
was
think it was creepy at all.
Oh, that
I
was
thought it was
I
really
nice
never thought it was
actually.
creepy.
that was
I
really
actually thought it
creepy.
was nice.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. I never felt creeped out by it. You
No, that was
But this is getting off topic because it's like this is just being like, oh, it might be like some
right.
like
I
spirit
mean,
in
that's
it.
true.
But I mean, once again though, we can connect back that to Jin too because it depends on what you believe in.
Well, my whole thing is
I
we've
mean,
been in that
Zen,
house, we never felt anything, and yet this person has seen Jin in this house, and our grandmother supposedly has seen it as well, whether she realizes it or not. But, and yet, we've been there for a month at a time, and not once have we even felt uncomfortable. Or, like, even, like,
Yeah.
slightly. And maybe it's because we're just daft, and we don't, like... Maybe something has happened. Maybe we're dumb. Maybe Jin think we're dumb. They're like, we're giving him all the signs, and they don't. They're just so dumb. They don't see it. But
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
Zen,
know.
you were back at the house, the other house after that house, in 2010. How'd you feel about that house?
No, I mean it was fine to me. This goes way back to my initial like I'm the skeptic and I don't really believe in it until like hear these stories. Like I've never felt anything weird about any of the houses that I've lived in. There's been rooms that for sure where I'm just been like, all right, that's a creepy room. I don't want to go in there. Which
But
I
you
just don't
remember that
understand
house,
how.
right?
No, of course I
Yeah.
remember the house, but I didn't think it was anything bad with
No,
it.
I
I
didn't think.
didn't.
But that was a house where she got the scratches.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't think anything was bad about that. There's, and it's not like we keep saying our cousin and our family. I mean, there's been houses that I've been to in Pakistan that have definitely been creepy, like than other houses, and I just don't know whether that goes back to the whole like, oh, oh, there's a feeling in this room, and I don't know what that feeling may be. It could be, once again, it could be a jinn, it could be a spirit. I don't know. But I've never experienced it personally. I've been to other places for sure, but definitely not ever in our family in Pakistan.
Yeah.
I've been to creepy houses.
Well, we're talking about
Yeah.
just our family houses. Have you felt like
Yeah,
creeped
yeah,
out?
creepy family. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but you feel creeped out even in your own home,
No, I don't.
Samra.
No, not in this one. Or like, I didn't feel creeped. The only place I ever felt creeped out, and that was when I was by myself. Was in um, my place when my first apartment after I got married. That was
Was
the
it the one
only
with
one
the
I felt.
loft?
No, no, no. That's not that one. That was my second place.
Okay, I
That
don't
was the
remember your
only.
first one.
Yeah, that was the only place where I felt creeped. Like, not. I wasn't even like extremely creeped out by it. Like, I just didn't like being alone, and I don't know if it was because like it was really dark around the area or what. Even though it was in like a nice town, um, it was just I don't know. That was the only place where I felt creeped out if I was by myself. Maybe it was also like the first time I ever really was by myself. Like,
That's probably it.
you know, after getting married and being home alone or what. I've never really truly been alone at that point. So I don't know. Maybe
Supposedly,
that was it.
I'm just segueing here. Supposedly, our grandmother has even spoken to a jinn, knowing it was a
Yeah.
jinn.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yep, you're right.
And this was like back
Yeah.
when her.
Explain that story.
I'm not gonna use names, like of the Jinn or anything, but like
Oh, name them.
Just call him Bob.
Bob the Jinn.
Bob the Jinn.
So
Why should there be a Jinn named Bob?
So our uncle was playing outside and like threw a ball into a tree or something.
Mind you, he was a little kid at the time.
He was like 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8. 5 through 8.
Yeah.
And he's playing outside and he comes back, right? And doesn't he get sick?
Yeah, he like comes back and he gets like a really bad fever or whatever in
I
the
thought
night.
it was a random person. I'm pretty sure it's not our uncle.
Well, it wasn't like he's not like a direct uncle. Like he's not our mom's brothers. But
Oh,
he's
okay.
like he was related in some like very distant way.
Gotcha.
So it's just easier to say, uncle.
So what I don't understand is how did they jump to the conclusion that he was possessed?
Well, the reason why is because like he went to bed like sick, and then he was saying like I guess he woke up and was saying like all these really weird things, and was like angry
Jinn-like
and
things.
yeah, exactly, just really. I
And
don't
weird
really know
voices.
exactly-
I think he was speaking in like weird voices. Not
like in a deeper.
Oh, he was
not-
speaking in Hindi as well. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't he?
No, he was just well, not that I know of the story. Maybe you're right, Gus. Not that I remember. I think he was just speaking in like a man's voice, not like a little kid voice. It wasn't like the scary voice, but it was
yeah,
like
the-
It was like a little
Deeper
kid
voice.
imitating what a man would sound like.
right.
Oh,
So it
the
was like a
spirit
deeper
was
voice.
Indian. I'm pretty sure. That's what the story is. Like, the demonic spirit that was on him, he was Indian. I remember it.
Not
'cause
Indian, but I think it was Hindu.
Hindi, like that religion, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But some type of form in that sense. And
Right, and
like-
they can be from any part of the world.
I mean,
Doesn't have to
they're
be-
like free will. They don't have to be Muslim. Like the Jinn don't have to be Muslim.
Yeah, they don't have to be like one type of. But I don't even think they have a religion. It's just that they, if they want to follow, they follow. They culturally, Bob was seemed to be from that part of the world. So yeah, so he was saying really weird things. So they woke my grandmother up, who I think at the time was like the oldest in the house, and
It's not like
She,
she's
like-
not any. Like she still is. So
yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, like in the house, it wasn't like
I was gonna just say that.
like I mean, like nobody else was there in terms of like another
Parents.
adult at the time. I think she was the adult at the time.
like my grandfather or anything.
Yeah, or like other, older. I mean, she was young, very young at the time. Our mom was really little, so she, was a very young woman at the time, and So they wake her up and she goes, and my grandmother, if you ever get to, I would love to have her as a guest. She's really badass.
She wouldn't even know what's going on though. She'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah. At this point, she'd be like, "Ooh, this is," anyways, veering off topic. But so she comes in the room and she's like, what's wrong? What's going on? Like she's talking to the little boy and she's saying his name, and the little boy's like, that's not me. I'm not that person.
You're not talking to this person. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Right, that's not my
So
name. So then she's
she
like,
asks,
what?
"Okay, what's your
so then
name?"
she takes him. She's like, well, what's your name? And he says Bob. And
That's not the real name.
Yes, you're just never supposed to say the name
Say
out
it.
loud, people. No,
I don't remember the name, but I've definitely said the name before.
that's fine. Then you don't need to worry about it. So then she was like, oh, okay. Well, hi, Bob. My name is, so-and-so. And so all of a sudden she's like making this conversation with this person, and he's like talking to her very much like, oh, you're this person? Wow. Are you gonna, will you, come to, come over my house? Like he was really impressed by my grandmother, and she was, going along with what he was saying. And then she was like, yeah, but why are you with this little boy? Like, why don't you leave him alone and, we'll hang out or whatever. And obviously not hang out. I'm really not telling the story properly, but
You're paraphrasing.
yes. And so he was like, well, I live here with my family, and this little boy threw a ball at like our house and it hurt me. And she was like, oh, you know what, he's little, please forgive him, he doesn't know any better, I'll tell him not to do that again. And he legit was like, oh, okay, well, if I go, will you still come over? And she was like, of course, I'll come over. And then, Bob leaves, and the little boy
he says, will you come to my home?
Yeah,
I want to show you my home, right? And then doesn't he say, I want to give you something, or like was very insistent?
Well, yeah, and again, our grandmother was like, yeah, I will, like, I'll come. I don't know.
She was like, not today, I can't. Like,
right?
What a baller! Like, not today, but I'll come one day.
Yeah, and she's like, it's late at night. We'll come. Well, I'll come. But anyway, so then he took that and was like, okay, great, and Bob leaves, and the little boy wakes up. Like, he goes back to sleep or something, and then wakes up 2 minutes later, and it was like, what are you guys all doing here? Like, had no recollection of what happened and what he was saying and what he was doing, and was so shocked that everybody was in his room, and that his fever, all of that was all gone.
That's the reason why I believe in jinns. Exactly. And I don't have to be there to know that I believe in it. Because why would these stories be told to us? Like, what's the reason for these stories?
My mom is like that. My mom truly believes in jinns. Not necessarily that they're all bad or good, but, believes that they exist because she said that she was witness to this particular case.
Right.
Now, just because you witnessed it, my dad apparently also witnessed what they say. Like, he doesn't believe that this was the actual case, but there was another family member who they say was possessed, and my dad was part of that. He saw that, but he didn't believe really that there was any jinn to the story, that there was something much more beyond that, and it wasn't actually a jinn.
Who knows what you can believe?
Did you hear about that lady in Pakistan that's like a distant relative that they all say is married to a jinn?
Right, yeah, I heard about her.
That they all, like, she's unmarried, and they always said she was kind of like, never really, like, socially up to par. Like, she was always a bit off. But she's not married, and she lives in this room by herself, but they hear voices of her speaking to someone at night, and she'll always always have new jewelry and new clothes, and she doesn't have a job, and they don't know where she's getting this from, and she says it's her husband who's a jinn, and she's talking to people at night.
I met the lady.
Isn't she like really nice?
Yeah, obviously I was really little when I met her. I have a distinct memory of her face, but I was maybe 7 or 8 when I met her the first time. And obviously, for me, I had no idea who she was. I just sat next to my mom anyways, because I didn't know who anybody in that house was. So, and then we left, a couple hours later. We just went there for dinner, and then we left.
Yeah, no, I think that's so creepy. For some reason that, she speaks to someone at night. There are, voices in her room, and she's always gifted new jewelry and new this and new that. And it's what if maybe she's off to us, but maybe she just sees something that we can't see.
Or maybe she's a hustler and nobody really knows.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Not that I don't know if I believe she's married to a jinn, but
she's a sugar mama.
I think she's a hustler on the side.
She's a sugar mama. I think that's the best case.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there anything else about Jinns? I think we've said a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. So, in terms of, there's a lot we can say, but then it would be going on and on and on, I think.
It'd be boring.
I mean, we can tell
Yeah, I think we summed it up pretty
but
good.
But if anyone has any like stories of Jinn, any South Asian listeners that like any really really creepy stories of Jinn in your family, because every Desi family has a Jinn story. Tell us.
It's true.
I do have a weird story before we
tell
go.
us.
One last story before we go, and then I don't know if it's a Jinn story. I don't think it is, but I was told the story just a few days ago. So I mean, and it's a really really short story. It's basically that my friend, one of her uncles her dad's brother. He was doing some sort of activity. Long story short, he was kind of doing some sort of activity at night, and he was just doing his thing, and then he saw a figure go by him, and he was just like, "Oh my god!" And it kind of startled him so much that like he felt ill immediately. Like he just was like he saw this, and it just spooked him out so much that it like made him feel sick, and he was getting nauseous, and he was like sweating, and then he fell backwards. So he fell backwards, passed out. They brought him to the hospital immediately, obviously. Like, they found him a few minutes later, bring him to the hospital, and and then, like, he kept, like, he just kept getting these symptoms, and then, like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the hospital, like, I guess, diagnosis, he died right there. And, obviously, like, the story dies there, because we'll never know what he saw. We'll never know what that figure may have been, or what he... This is just based off of, like, third-hand, fourth-hand stories that, like, this is what they think that happened, And she said that this is probably a spirit or some sort of a jinn that he may have saw, and that's what her family believes, saying that that's what basically he saw. I mean, we don't know. But, I mean, I joked around with her saying that you never know what if she got scared by a cat or something, Like, we don't know. And I didn't want to like make fun of the death, but like it was just kind of like
it's odd. It's definitely odd.
It's odd. It's very odd that just all of a sudden like he saw something, and that's one of the things he kept saying throughout the entire ride to the hospital. Was like, I saw something. Oh my god, I saw something, and he couldn't explain what he saw. He's like, I saw something, and it was one of those like, oh my god, like it spooked him out, like his eyes bloodshot, like kind of just wired immediately. And yeah, unfortunately, he died, immediately, like once he got to the hospital, which is kind of strange. But yeah, I just wanted to share that little short story because she wanted me to tell you that.
Well,
tell you guys that.
On that note.
Oh, I was gonna say I had a story, but never mind.
Okay.
No, say your story.
Well, my friend witnessed an exorcism in a church in Brazil. And she was going to tell the story herself, but I don't think it's going to happen. So shout out Julie, this is for you. But she was in Brazil, and her grandfather's church is very old, and it's one of those churches that people go to when you have an affliction, and they do exorcisms. And so she was in the church one day when they brought a woman in, and she was like speaking in tongues and spitting and blah blah blah. And they say like their thing is you never should look at someone who's in that state. You should never make eye contact with them. You should never do that. And Julie is like, and of course I look and make eye contact, and she starts smiling. This woman who's possessed starts smiling at her and starts speaking in tongues at her, and she's like, I don't even know what is happening. And supposedly after that, for a couple of months, weird things were happening to her, like things would fall, or it just like followed her. And I think her grandfather did like a mini blessing or exorcism, I don't know for sure, to like rid of any negative energy surrounding her. But
because it just got that bad.
Because it got to the point where she is like, I'm really scared.
Wow.
Damn.
And if I told the story wrong, Julie, and you want to like be like, shut up, you don't know anything about my life, tell me and I'll retell the story, or you can come on and tell the story the way it's meant to be told. But I remember she told me that, and it freaked me out.
Well,
is
That
really
is
freaky.
really freaky.
On that note, follow us on Bob and Friends.
Gossam just wants to
Instagram.
leave.
Twitter. Still don't have that Snapchat. I don't know if we have the website yet.
No, we
It's still in
don't.
the works.
No. Oh, and one more thing before we go. This is not gin related. This is more lighthearted. One of my friends who is a semi-listener, he wanted me to say this because he wanted me to say I canceled a movie date with him because I wanted to record the podcast, and he wanted me to say that because he's like, yeah, you should tell how dedicated you are to this podcast. You canceled on me so you can do this. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Well, then there's that.
I don't want to watch a movie with you. I would rather do the podcast.
Also, we'd be pissed and we would shade you.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's more of like
That's
you were
true, too.
scared and not that you were dedicated.
Wait, this is completely off topic, but has anybody seen Happy Death Day yet?
No, I want to so badly.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
You need
I'm
to
gonna go watch it right now. I'm just joking, but I'll figure it
But
out.
yeah, that's off topic. Another horror movie that was good. But
Yeah.
yeah. Also on iTunes, if you guys download it, please review our podcast. It will help us greatly. Give us a 1-star,
Yes.
5-star, whatever you want. Just review
And let's not give us a 5
5-star.
Let's not give us a five. Give us a
Let's keep-
5
let's
stars,
keep it a-
and not
Give us a 5-star.
don't give us 1 star.
I was like, yeah, no.
Because
You
that
could.
will really help generate, some,
Traction.
Yeah,
here. If you
guys.
guys want
Views.
us to be big, want us to do
I
some
like how
big
this is coming
things
from
out here, just
Qasim,
review it.
who's never on the podcast.
Hey, I'm trying to help this out as much as we can.
No, seriously.
He's utilizing his time
Yes.
well.
Exactly.
All right,
So
guys.
review.
Alright.
That's all I have to say.
All
Alright.
right. Well, see you next.
I guess on that
see you
note,
next week.
spooky.
Spoopy in our final episode. Ooh.
Yeah, we're ending our Halloween next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.